Hey, wrestling fans, welcome once again to another edition of Wrestling After Show. I'm Heath Haynes.
I'm Jonny Fairplay.
And we're coming to you live from the After Show studios right here in Providence, North Carolina, in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic territory. And we had a week off last week, kind of a slow week in the world of professional wrestling.
Yeah, it was, we're so good at our predictions, Heath, that, I mean, what are we going to say? What we already said?
We were right.
I mean,
shortest podcast ever.
Yeah, well,
we were right.
We were. I think we're batting 1,000 on our reckless speculation and being wrong half the time.
I feel good about it.
All right.
So anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the upcoming team up of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the new Mega Powers, and I believe I'm the first to christen them the new Mega Powers. So once again, continuing the trailblazing legacy here at Wrestling After Show. We're also going to be talking about the promo that CM Punk did this past Monday Night Raw, which I consider to be in top 5 Punk promos of all time, in my opinion. And then we also have a classic match to look at, which at the end of it, we see a little angle that maybe we've seen a hint of recently, and in a certain AEW.
We have, and I can have more to talk about that involving one of the participants as it relates to Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley.
Always look forward to the backstage intricacies that this man presents on Wrestling After Show. But I guess let's just get it started off with Yeb. So SmackDown on its new home on the USA channel, they did a
new logo.
They did a new logo. And I'm sure there'll be some new video who's he what's his presentations that they work in. But it opened up with the big steel cage match between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship.
Well,
and the match itself.
Can I dispute it?
You can dispute all you want to, young man. The match itself, I thought it was a fine example of a modern steel cage match. There was a little bit of blood, just enough to say they had it, and they did. With you and I, we always have to talk about new wrestling as it correlates to the old stuff that we love and we grew up with. And I have always had a problem with WWE steel cage matches and the escape the cage stipulation. It doesn't jive with me, but the way it was utilized in this match to add tension and drama and just not make whoever's trying to escape the cage look like a chicken shit, I thought it worked out pretty well.
Well, the entire purpose of the steel cage, as we learned in the Crockett era and prior, was you have a match and someone comes and interferes, and then you have a stipulation to hopefully solve it, and it almost works, but someone comes out and interferes, and the final resolution is a steel cage so no one can interfere.
Nobody can get in.
That was the whole gimmick.
Yeah.
And then you have, WWF with the big blue salad steel cage, as Bruce Pritchard calls it, and they added the escape the cage component, and I think the purpose of that was to keep the heat on the heel when the babyface gets away.
Well, I think actually the escape the cage and as far as the Northeast is concerned, what is now WWE, back then was WWF, before that WWF. I think they always had that escape the cage component in there. I mean, you might want to check me out on that. But for me, the steel cage, like you said, it's like nobody can get in, but it's like for the babyface, it's like I finally got you.
This is it.
You can't run anymore. Now I got you.
And the first 5 minutes was this just them getting to them. Like they would try to hide within the cage, which was technically impossible. But for 5 minutes, they would kind of manipulate themselves to where you couldn't get to them.
So these guys start going at it, and it's a lot of blows back and forth. They start utilizing the cage, and it was funny because right off of the bat, when we saw in previous contests with Solo and Cody. We saw that maybe Solo had been studying tape, and he maybe had some answers for some of Cody's traditional offense and maybe was, expecting some of it. One thing of which was the drop down, punch up. Cody hit that twice in like the first 30 seconds. So it's like, I guess you just study tape the once, and then not so much moving forward.
Then you forget. So I will say this. Looking back at that SummerSlam match between Solo and Cody Rhodes, this match blew that away.
Oh yeah.
Like I was under the false impression it's just like maybe these guys don't have chemistry. Maybe Solo isn't that good. Maybe Solo's the wrong guy for this role. And I think Solo's stock went up in this match. I mean, it was just a stupid, TV main event. However, I felt like I wish we felt the way that I felt about Solo at the end of that SummerSlam match, because I did not like at the end of the SummerSlam match. I was like, oh, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Is Solo not the guy? Maybe these two should stop wrestling each other. And I'm on the other side of the fence now. I thought their chemistry was great. I thought Solo looked like the Solo that we were hoping for at SummerSlam. And once again, just a throwaway TV main event. Who cares?
I agree. I think Solo looked a lot better in this match. I loved going back to the utilizing the escape the cage stipulation as a positive. I thought they had some great back and forth on the top of the cage.
Oh yeah.
Will they, won't they? I think they both. Cody had that tremendous cross body off the top of the cage. Didn't get the full extension, but still, it looked great.
But he didn't Adam Copeland his knees either.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was one moment where a hallmark of Solo's offense is the I don't know what they call it, but like the butt blast in the corner where he just runs full speed. And
I don't think he calls it the butt blast.
I'm going to call it the butt blast, the Solo butt blast.
Patent pending.
And he's been butt blasting Cody over there in the corner, And then Cody has the presence of mind. Wait a second, which corner am I in? Can I just? Oh yeah, I just opened the door, and he starts crawling out. I thought that was pretty cool. Cody wins the match.
Yeah. Well, going back real quick to the escape the cage gimmick, it's been a staple of WWF and the Northeast forever. If you're a newbie to professional wrestling, you could easily be like, why do they have that stipulation versus the Crockett and the World Class? It's to keep the bad guys out from interfering and all that. If you're a newbie and these are fresh young eyes, you're just like, well, for the video game, it's the perfect finish for a video. Like the video game, it's pin, submit, or escape the cage.
Yeah.
It's a cool component for a video game.
Yeah.
But Bruno Sammartino was doing this.
and it's funny, as a WWE video game player myself, if you're in a multi-man steel cage match, a triple threat or a fatal four-way, a lot of times escaping the cage is the only way to win those matches.
Yeah.
Because every time you're doing a pin or trying to get a submission, it's going to get broken up by somebody else in the ring. So yeah, that's where the escape does come in handy. So the match concludes. No surprise, Cody Rhodes successfully defends his title. And here comes the Bloodline.
Sure. Had to know it was coming.
And they don't use the door. They just all start climbing over and start laying waste to the already, he's just worn out from the match. So they start tearing up Cody Rhodes. And I love the way they do this as Jacob Fatu is going to the top of the cage to execute something. Here comes Roman Reigns. Now, what were you surprised by that? First off, that Roman Reigns was coming out.
No, for the season premiere and new home for SmackDown.
Well, he's going to be there, but I mean, as far as like looking at it, like, is he coming out to save Cody, or is he coming out just because this is an opportunity for him to get his hands on these new Bloodline goofs?
Well, I think they both kind of work together. Like, I don't think he was coming out to save Cody. It was just like, here's my opportunity.
The enemy of my enemy sort of situation.
So, and as far as Jacob Fatu on the top of the cage, I come there and just like, man, I'm just like, you don't need to be doing that with that fresh ankle.
Yeah, right.
And then when Roman comes there and just like, much like, when we at SummerSlam, when Roman came out and you're just like, oh my God, we're going to get Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob Fatu on the top of the cage, it is just like, don't do it. You're like, he's not.
Well, that was a perfect, whoever agented, that match, whoever produced that match, a perfect little piece of producing right there. It's like, okay, well, how do we keep these two apart? We'll have Fatu on the top of the cage when Roman comes in. And I watched it back a couple of times, like, where'd he go? He just climbed out the outside and, and then was able to pull Solo out. And then he is like, okay, well, now I'm going to get – and you did have that moment where they teased Roman Reigns to Jacob Fatu. It was like, hey, all right, big boy, come on.
This is it.
And, and it was great tension. It was awesome. And then Solo pulls Fatu out. You still have the two cannon fodder members of the bloodline. And, and then we had that nice crossroads and then spear on the other guy exchange. And then here we are with Cody and Roman side by side. And again, the camera work, the guy, by this point, the camera guy has actually climbed into the cage.
Oh, that's my boy Rico.
And Rico was doing a great job. And it framed perfectly with Roman's face, Cody in the background. Now, because I didn't get to watch it live, or I didn't get to see that part live, what did Roman go to Nick Aldis and say, "Hey, I want a tag team match," or "I want those guys at Bad Blood," or like what was the vehicle for that match forming?
So they go to Nick Aldis afterwards. He comes there and is just like, you guys just saw what I saw, and this needs to be resolved immediately. Like, obviously we have a problem. I'm going to the bloodline right now. I'm talking to them, and then I'm talking to Roman Reigns, and then I'm going to talk to Cody Rhodes. So he goes to the bloodline. They're like, oh yeah, we're signing the contract. Here it is, done deal. And then he asks Roman. Roman's like, yeah. And then Cody comes in and he's just like,
no, this is your deal.
Yeah. He's just like, man, he's like, I'm done.
Okay.
I beat the head of the table.
Yeah.
I beat the tribal chief because he's wearing the gimmick.
Yeah. So that's where I came in, and that's when I texted you, and I was like, so I guess I missed some stuff.
Yes, you missed
because I didn't get to start watching till 9. So out comes Roman at the end of the show, and he demands the mic, and he starts cutting like kind of the typical Roman promo. This is all this is.
And
mine.
I'm still
the guy.
I'm still the piece of shit that I wasn't. So I like the cheers, and I'm not telling you not to.
But
cheer.
nothing's changed here, and I do like that.
I like when a heel turns babyface, and then they turn baby like they
turn babyface, but they're still the same guy.
But so many times they turn babyface, they start glad handing the fans, and I'm just like, no, that's not why we liked you.
Yeah,
we liked you because you didn't do that.
No,
crap.
The reason you're babyface now is because your target is now these guys as opposed to it was these guys.
But we like you being that fucking piece of shit.
So
for the powers of good.
In his typical style, I'm still the man. Blah blah. Blah. Cody comes out and he didn't quite nail the mannerisms in this, but by the time he got to the end line, it's because he's like, this is your WWE, this is your ring, and he's kind of mealy mouthing a little bit, and and then he's like, well, it was, and it's like, there you go.
Yeah,
people are booing him,
which
is
not good.
Well, not good. But I'm the one that says like Cody would be a great heel one day, but
not yet.
I'm not holding my breath.
Oh no,
so,
I think it happens, but
not holding my breath.
We need Brandy Rhodes.
Bloodline comes out, and there's some physicality that happens, and the contract gets signed. Cody is the last one to sign a contract, and it's like, okay, now this match is happening. I'm down with 95% of it.
All right, what's your beef?
Well, and again, as we're going to talk about with this Punk promo, so much in WWE right now like problems can be solved in the matter of a week depending on like what kind of promo gets cut. So right now, my question about it is, okay, well, what happened, Cody, in the 30 minutes before where you were like, this is your deal, you handle it, and now he's like, okay, I'm in for this match. I think he can explain it next week.
I think the explanations are he was done. And he came, like, he told Roman in the back, and then Roman's popping off, this is my WWE. And he goes there, he's like, whoa. He's like, let me set the record straight, brother. He was just like, even though I'm done with the bloodline, and, this is not your WWE, because I have this undisputed championship.
Again.
Right? And then the bloodline attacks him, and he's just like, I can't be done with this fight because they're not done fighting me.
Okay. That's the way to do it. Another way to do it would be Cody comes out this week and he's like, hey, you think you're the law around here, you're the boss around here. Turns out I'm actually the law around here, and if there's any further law that needs to be laid down, by God, I'm going to be a part of it.
That's kind of an asshole way to say it, though.
Hey, it's Cody. He's got a little.
We don't need AEW Cody.
It's a little bit of him in there.
We don't need a Cody-verse.
So anyway, I'm feeling stoked about it. Do I think it's going to lead to a long-running program? Okay, so with the Mega Powers thing, Hogan and Savage. For those of you who don't know, the Mega Powers is referring to the teaming of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage in, what was this, 88?
Yeah, not the Megamaniacs.
Not the Megamaniacs. So they got together, and it was basically one of those deals where we're just going to put these guys together to have them eventually break apart and feud again. Because by that point, the fans had turned Randy Savage babyface. So you had these two mega baby faces. Let's team them up. But then eventually the plan, would have to be, Savage turned back heel. Yeah.
Because his paranoia got the best of him.
And which was in place the entire time. Will this be a program to that level? No, it will not.
Who's to say?
I don't think so. It'll be. I see them.
I see them going their separate ways.
I see them coexisting. Yes, in this match, and possibly. Now, we have envisioned, and a lot of wrestling fans have envisioned for a while now, that Survivor Series will be this tribal warfare deal, old bloodline, new bloodline. They haven't really done a lot to like put all those pieces in play. So Cody could be a part of that situation.
Because like on SmackDown, they were trotting out the legends and trotting out the people from Monday Night Raw. So you have Vicky Guerrero in the crowd and Booker T and Teddy Long and then you have Gunther was out there. So you have all these people. So I was prepared for Sami Zayn, to be there, just representing Raw. Here's Sami Zayn. Cody says no in the back. And then Roman comes out, to accept the challenge. They get the beatdown again, and Sammy just happens to be there.
Yeah,
and that's step one towards our Survivor Series tribal warfare.
Now they still have a ways to go. They still have time on the calendar left.
Yeah, but not a
lot because Survivor Series is November. And there's not going to be a PLE between Survivor Series and Bad Blood.
No, So we got October 6th, and then hopefully I can look hopefully the end of.
Well, it's the Thanksgiving tradition, isn't it?
When is Survivor Series 2024?
No, it's in Canada. And tickets go on sale like this week, I believe.
Yes, it's the it was always the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but who's oh my God, Wikipedia, you're the worst. I've only got
anyway. There's not going to be another PL.
No,
there's not going to be another.
But that's
PLE.
Still not a lot of time.
It's still not a lot of time because you have Jimmy Uso, who's not even around.
November 30th. So that's a little more. That's probably the biggest gap in WWE PLE
lately, because they've been doing them every 3 weeks. They've been like just clipping them off.
So that helps us getting Cody out of this.
He's got to get Cody out of that. Got to get Sammy out of whatever he's in. Back around
after Gunther.
Yeah, you got to get Jay. You got to get Jimmy showed up again.
Yeah.
He's got to be back. So a
lot of moving pieces.
We don't know that that's where they're going.
Paul Heyman, the wise man, is not even.
We don't know that that's where they're going. So if that's not where they're going, then maybe the Cody Roman thing carries on into some sort of War Games thing at Survivor Series. That was my point. But I don't see it being a long range program. I don't see them teaming up too much past this match and like maybe something at Survivor Series. Definitely not like anything on TV.
Do we hate the idea of Cody in the War Games match? Because I think I do. I feel like my heart was set on this Bloodline reunion.
I mean, that's what we want to see. But like I said, they've got a lot of work to get those pieces.
Cody doesn't make it better,
No, but listen to this. If they do a Cody Roman T-shirt and it sells really well, who knows? They might be around for more than a cup of coffee.
And so then we get Roman, Cody, Randy, Kevin versus the Bloodline.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
I mean, it's star fueled.
Yeah.
So that part,
and then maybe everybody fucking turns on Cody.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of fucking people. Okay, so we're gonna get in the fucking Wayback Machine right now. All of this makes me think of the combination of the steel cage match and then Cody teaming up with a former adversary against current adversaries. It all reminds me of 1981 in the Omni, where in the Georgia territory, Ole Anderson was on a babyface run.
Yeah.
For a good while, and he's got problems with whoever the heels were at the time.
Sure.
But he gets in a situation where he's got a tag team match in a steel cage in the Omni, and he needs a partner. His opponents are Ivan Koloff and no. It's the Assassins. That's right. It's the two Assassins. His brother, Gene Anderson, is going to be a special referee. And then Ivan Koloff is going to be there as the heel special referee. So you've got heel tag team, heel special referee, babyface special referee, babyface Ole Anderson. He's like, who can I get the team? My former arch nemesis, Dusty Rhodes. Come on, man. And so Dusty Rhodes teams with him, and they get like 20 minutes into the match, and everybody in the fucking ring turns on Dusty Rhodes, talking about both the Assassins, Ivan Koloff, Gene Anderson, 5 dudes all beating the shit out of Arn Anderson. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I played you like a fiddle, Rhodes. And so the combination of a steel cage, and I know the tag team matches are going to be a steel cage match, but the steel cage being there, Cody surrounded by rivals, past and present, it just had me thinking about and then if he's involved in some sort of Survivor Series War Games thing in his daddy's match, and everybody fucking turns on him, that'd be wild, dude. I'd be down for it. I love Cody Rhodes, but I would be down for that.
Okay, well, we've all dreamed this Bloodline versus Bloodline,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
Do you think we're in the minority here where, on paper, is Roman, Cody, Randy, and Kevin better in most current fans' eyes? The every fan.
The people that just started watching after WrestleMania 40. Because those people don't have any concept
of the last 2.5 years
of Sami Zayn being a part of the Bloodline, of Sami, of the whole Kevin, Sami, and the Bloodline thing, and Sami coming out of the Bloodline, all that stuff. Yeah. So, and if you want to talk about like somebody that just started watching at WrestleMania 40, yeah, they have no, there's no context for.
They don't care about Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. Like
Jimmy Uso showing me.
He's like, oh, that guy that was in the worst match on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I don't care about that guy. So yeah, You might have something there.
Can you live with that? Are you happy with that?
I mean, dude, you know me. I'm easy. I'm a cheap date, man. I love everything they're doing.
I mean, on paper, they're bigger stars.
Yeah.
Like those four are bigger box office than Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn.
Who knows what kind of shape Jimmy is in?
Ooh.
You know, I mean,
he gets the Sheamus phone call. They're just like,
I mean,
hey,
those guys. Yeah, those guys. I mean, like, you know, Jay is in ring shape, and it's like you are just maybe a few body fat percentages higher than you need to be. Like,
sure,
he could lean up, but like, I can imagine Jimmy with some off time.
Sheamus in it.
Yeah.
It's like, didn't you have this circled on your calendar? It's like, I was thinking December. I thought I don't know why I circled December 30th.
So we shall see. But anyway, and the all the Cody Roman stuff made for compelling TV, and I was thinking a dynamite presentation for a premiere on USA.
It made quite the impact.
Well, they were on a rampage.
Oh, well, Survivor Series shall be a collision of sorts, if you will.
It shall be. Okay. Moving along. Speaking of collision,
I hope they do it raw.
Speaking of collision and a show, being a show that I have not watched since our next topic left AEW, and we're talking about CM Punk and his current tear. And WWE back on Raw this week to cut. Like I said at the time, I went back and watched it today. For me, one of the top 5 Punk promos of all time. He was dead serious. The tone fit the subject matter, and he was talking once again about his arch rival Drew McIntyre. He says, "Now, when I got here, very clearly, I said I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money." But he didn't necessarily mean he was there to make a mortal enemy, which is what he has made with Drew McIntyre. And he goes on to, lay out like, maybe I was foolish to think that it was over just because I touched 4 turnbuckles.
Oh, that was my favorite part of the whole thing. Because I was just like, you're right on that one, brother.
Maybe Drew McIntyre was foolish to think it was over when he laid me out in Chicago and brought my wife and my dog into it.
It's an ugly dog.
He is lovable though.
Yeah, sure.
And but just Punk's tone the entire time. So that was the big thing for me. The tone fit the subject matter, and he opened the promo up talking about how many matches do I have left in me. That's what people are always asking me. And then he references that point midway through the promo. And he's like, "You might want to ask me how many Hell in a Cell matches do I have in me?" And the answer is 0.
That's it.
I've got none.
Or maybe he meant 3.
Maybe he did mean 3. My wife has asked me not to do this. The fans have asked me.
His sister.
What did my sister have asked me not to do it? And he's got to do it. And
I don't think the fans asked him not to do it.
And he can't.
Hey, all you fans out there telling CM Punk not to have this match, screw you. I didn't want the 4 corners being touched to be the resolution. I wanted Hell in a Cell. So for all you fans asking for him not to do it, you're screwing up a good thing here.
He's not going to say he's not going to kill Drew McIntyre because he doesn't want to make promises he's not going to keep. That part was a little clunky, but it was like, okay, you got there.
That's the Scott Hall thing.
You got there.
Scott Hall used to say his number one pet peeve.
Babyface can't make guarantees. You shouldn't make guarantees.
Well, no, just any wrestler saying you're going to kill somebody. He goes, you're not. It's a work. You're not killing somebody.
He's like, I'm not going to kill you. But he says, Drew McIntyre, you're going to have to kill me for this to be over. So if you remember from last episode, wrestling fans, I was the one that was kind of like, I'm not feeling this because they kind of squeezed everything out of it with that decisive victory in Berlin for CM Punk.
Touching 4 corners.
But again, right here, in the matter of 1 promo, it's like, I'm back in. I'm ready. I'm ready for this match. Your thoughts?
You put it in top 5 promos, and I guarantee there's someone screaming at the screen right now, and they're just like, "Oh no, the pipe bomb! What did the pipe bomb really do?"
It got me paying attention to wrestling again.
I got that, but in the grand, did it build to a match? a match happened as a result of the interest, but the promo itself was not a money promo. This was a money promo. That promo put asses in seats. That promo has people turning on Peacock on October 6th or whatever.
So you're in the classic definition of promotion. We are promoting this thing that's coming up.
Yeah.
For sure, it functions like that. The pipe bomb, I will say, did pique interest because they had that Money in the Bank match that was coming up, and and he was, Punk clearly says he was like, when after Money in the Bank, when I walk out of here with that title, for me as a lapsed fan at that point, I was like, oh, well, I want to see this.
It was a broader scope thing versus.
Well, yeah. It was the airing of grievances.
Yes.
But that's what made it notable.
Sure.
It was pulling back the curtain and all that. Just as a sidebar, other Punk promos, favorites of mine, from AEW, you could almost just pick anything from the MJF feud, but the hurt people promo. Do you remember that one?
No.
It was the one where it was the week after MJF comes out and spills his guts about his childhood and how Punk was his hero and how he got made fun of on the football team and Jew boy and all of that. And and at the end of it, Punk was like, "Is that was that real? Was that real?" And then MJF walks out, and so the next week, Punk comes out, and again with the a kind of a different serious tone than we saw here, but with the concern, legitimate concern. He's like, maybe I've got this guy all wrong, and he says that line, and he was like, what, this guy's been through a lot. And, one thing I've learned in this world is hurt people. Huh. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm watching fucking wrestling right now.
He's got some good action shots.
Yeah. And then MJF comes out and they embrace Nutshot and he beats the fuck out of Punk and lights him up. And then right after that, and I gotta, this is for me, a personal favorite Punk promo. Was right after that because I saw it live. I saw this promo live in Nashville, and it was he comes out Indian style in the ring. He's got the gift box, and he ends up pulling out the, you fancy yourself Roddy Piper, and he pulls out the dog collar and leading to the that's the challenge. So that pipe bomb is up there for me, and then two unconventional ones that definitely do not fit your definition of the promo, but fucking, where he just just rode roughshod over the entire AEW locker room
and management.
Specifically management. And then the Ariel Helwani interview from right before, where once again, I mean, so those are what I would call my favorite CM Punk promos, but
my favorite anti-Punk promo, and I don't know if you've seen this. I'll show it to you afterwards. And I don't think it's on YouTube, so you have to do a Google search for this if you're looking for it, folks. The Challenge, MTV's The Challenge.
Okay,
they had the challengers versus the pros, and CM Punk was on the challenge.
Oh, okay.
And him and Johnny Bananas got into it.
Was this when he was out of the ring and he was just kind of like...
He had just washed out in UFC.
Oh.
And him and Bananas get into it. I mean, and it's physical.
Okay.
And afterwards, Johnny Bananas goes, dude, you know why your name's CM Punk? Because you're a fucking punk.
Wow.
He goes, you're a fucking loser in fucking wrestling. You're a loser in UFC. And he goes, you got nothing left but to come to my sport. And he goes, and I just dogged you.
I gotta see that.
It's like, my good buddy Johnny Bananas, and you're sitting there just like, wouldn't CM Punk beat the shit out of Johnny Bananas? But you're just like, I think Johnny Bananas has a pretty good chance against CM Punk. And then worlds collide here.
I gotta see that.
So, but as I said, I've never found it doing a YouTube search, but if you just do a Google search, it goes to like a Vimeo or something. But it's CM Punk, Johnny Bananas. Who knew?
Ladies and gentlemen, a peek behind the curtain here at Wrestling After Show headquarters. We're which actually you may notice that we are looking better than we have ever looked before.
4K, brother.
4K, and it's not just because of the 35 pounds that I've lost.
that helps.
On air. Definitely helps. But I've so we've got a new interface that we're looking at, and I don't see where the friggin' clock. Oh, is that the clock? I think I just found it. All right, so we got plenty of time.
Yeah,
we're doing good.
We're doing great. Yeah, so we moved from StreamYard. You used to see at the bottom of our videos, join StreamYard if you want a podcast. Hey, if you guys want to spend $1,200 a month, you can get on Riverside too, brother.
Proud customers of Riverside, and we're all benefiting from this 4K resolution. That
no longer podcasters, we're broadcasters.
Broadcasters, baby.
Yeah,
that's
get
right.
ready.
So getting ready to move along, if you will. Or is there anything else going on in modern day wrestling that you want to touch on real quick? I mean, those are my big things.
I like the Braun breaker. I didn't, Jey Uso comes out and he does, Uso in the house or what, I hate that. So, but everybody's got their, what are we going to talk about? Everybody's got that
tagline.
Yeah. So, but it's the Jey that I've been looking for a while. He got serious and he backed it with facts and not stupid cliches. And him going back and forth, he's just like, Braun Breaker is just like, he's like, dude, your family's never beat my family.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen, maybe we can add that, down the road on a Crockett Classic.
Steiner's SST. And it's from Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl Edition.
So that's great. So it's Clash of the Champions 8, but it was called Fall Brawl 89.
Brawl 89, yeah.
So if you'd like to watch this match on Peacock, and you think you're going to search Fall Brawl?
No.
Fall Brawl is years later.
It's a different thing.
They called that, they named their Clash of the Champions sometimes, most of the time. And they had named this one Fall Brawl, and I think someone had the wisdom.
Let's bring that back.
That's a pretty good name.
Well, it's a Dusty thing, because he came up with all that stuff. Seasons beatings,
sure.
Halloween Havoc, Starcade. But the seasonal aligned, so Fall Brawl, that was
Halloween Havoc. And for those of you that don't know, I feel like Dusty always thought that Starcade was their number one. That was their WrestleMania.
Yes.
Eric Bischoff always under the impression that Halloween Havoc was their biggest pay-per-view of the year. Not
Bash at the Beach or...
Well, you would think Starcade.
Yeah.
He never thought that. But I always thought Halloween Havoc had I think it's a cool name for a monthly pay-per-view, but not for your WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah. No, it's for a gimmick themed pay-per-view where
it's
you
great.
can shit on the set or whatever.
Yeah, but not like, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. Yeah. It's grandiose. Yeah. Halloween Havoc is just like,
it's the thing you do in Halloween.
Halloween Havoc is Bash in Berlin.
Yeah.
Bash in Berlin is not WrestleMania.
We're at Clash of the Champions 8, Fall Brawl 89.
Yes.
And this was a period of time where I'd fallen out. Quit watching wrestling. Okay. And you suggested this match, and rather than go through the kind of laborious process of fast forwarding on Peacock, I was like, I'm going to watch the whole thing. Yeah. And there was a lot to like.
Yeah.
There was a lot to like, man. First off, the commentary team was Jim Ross and Jim Cornette, Gordon Soley backstage.
Doing interviews, yeah.
But then the thing that he's not on air, but they were talking about the WCW hotline that you can call and
1-900-909-9900.
That's the one.
Don't call, folks. Don't call without parents' consent.
Okay. So you can call that hotline, and Lance Russell is on the hotline. And after the match, after the show's concluded, Jim Cornette and Lance Russell are going to be on the hotline doing the wrap up. So, and on your announced roster for this one evening, you got Lance Russell, Gordon Soley, Jim Cornette, and Jim Ross right there. So the announced team is stacked. Your buddies, the SST you were just talking about, opening match, SST versus the Road Warriors, who I don't think were going to be around for much longer, and didn't do the SST any favors. I mean, they sold a little bit and is enough to build up momentum for an Animal hot tag, and he comes in. But they pretty much had their way with the SST as much as anybody I'd ever seen.
Yeah, well, that was Road Warriors with everyone.
And and that match. And then you had the debut of the Z-Man.
Tom Z.
Another Jonny Fairplay favorite.
Yep.
We had the ongoing, and this is going to lead into our main event and the match we're going to break down. But the ongoing drama backstage all night was, of course, Gary Hart, Playboy Gary Hart, is the manager of Terry Funk and Great Muta,
the JTEX Corporation,
who are supposed to be in the main event, but Terry Funk has been injured, and it's
But we have no idea.
The controversy is he going to show up? Is he even going to be here? Is he going to be in any shape to wrestle? So that's going on. So that's interspersed in all these matches. We see kind of a squashy match for what I would think for a Clash of the Champions, where you think every match is going to be kind of a marquee sort of deal. Not so much with this, because you had Ranger Ross versus Sid Vicious in kind of a squash match. You had Z-Man versus the Cuban Assassin. Yeah. Kind of like what you would expect for a TV match.
Cuban Assassin, like the old bookers, and even the new booker. I've worked many shows with the Cuban Assassin in Vegas and Portland, Oregon, and bookers have just always loved Dave. Was it Dave Sierra?
Is that his name?
I believe. Yeah. He's a very likable. I mean, like I've worked with him. I like him.
Yeah.
But like I always thought, just like who's this job guy? As a fan, they constantly gave this guy work and would give him a little bit in matches.
He took some great bumps and he made Z-Man look like $1 million.
Yeah,
so there you go.
I guess that's the gimmick. But you would think it's just this guy Clash Champions where it's like, oh yeah, give Dave a paycheck, brother.
So to keep a tag team title match with the Steiner brothers against the new Freebirds, the Jimmy Jam Garvin Freebirds. And I've heard Cornette talk about how in this era of the Freebirds, how Garvin was on some supplements.
Okay.
And he is, dude. He looks like somebody hooked a air hose up to his ass, man. It's like he's all like puffed up and swole up. He's like, and it's just. It's not the gorgeous Jimmy that I fell in love with.
From and then you meet gorgeous Jimmy now, and he's like 120 pounds.
Is that even
with no hair?
With no hair. Is that even you? So they have a tag team title match, and it's what blows me. I think this is still pretty early on in Scott Steiner's development, because I see him completely botch like 3 arm drags in a row, and it's like, oh, that looks terrible. And then towards the end of the match, he does 2 standing Frankensteiners. It's like, oh, okay, you can do that.
This is why you got to get. Yeah. I remember when he first did a Frankensteiner, because back in the day, like when we first saw DDT, you're just like, oh man, like that's it. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
It'll blow your mind.
Because you had people finishing moves with the time it drops.
Yeah, for sure. Or a suplex. I mean, Harley Race won the NWA World Title one time with a vertical suplex.
Yeah, and then you have this guy Scott started doing like it's just like that move doesn't even make sense.
What the fuck did you just do?
And the athleticism for someone that jacked also didn't make sense.
I'm just gonna from standing. I'm gonna stand all the way up, and wrap my legs around your head,
and do a backflip.
And do a backflip. We had Dr. Death Steve Williams versus the Captain Mike Rotunda, and I was very confused because I thought at this point, weren't they made no mention of them being in the varsity club together, being a tag team, being tag team champions. But I'm pretty sure that it all happened by the time this match was happening.
Yeah. The varsity club was 87-88.
Made no reference to it whatsoever. So I thought that was wild. But then we get to our main event and we find out
our semi-main.
Yeah,
House of Fire, Tommy.
I was trying to move things along here. But then I mentioned I did text you about this. So we have United States champion, total package, Lex Luger defending
in the peach trunks. I always hated those peach trunks.
Defending his title against the Wildfire Tommy Rich. And I was like, you could not pick two more polar opposite opponents. And fucking Tommy Rich dog walked Lex Luger in this fucking match.
He brought his working boots.
I loved it. I was like, why?
Why is this?
Why is
just
it?
Look at him.
It was about the favorite thing I've ever seen Tommy Rich do. It was fun. And hats off to Luger for like, somebody told him like, hey, you got to give Tommy Rich some offense in this thing. And he did, man. And he got super frustrated at times. It was really fun to watch.
And Jim Cornette giving the history of Tommy Rich and Lex Luger.
Yeah.
And Jim Ross putting it over. It's jeans and boots versus custom tailored Italian suits. It's growing up and Podunk South. And the rich Chicago
the silver
family.
Spoon. They kept mentioning the silver spoon in Lex Luger's mouth. But and just in the context of WTBS and how crucial Tommy Rich was in the rise of of wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, but on that station
he was Hulk Hogan, he was Cody Rhodes, he was Roman Reigns
for sure.
Like I never saw that version of Tommy Rich, when I was a kid. I came in like right after, into my fandom.
Well, he never had a Crockett run, which is like seems kind of weird, but like if he wasn't in Georgia, he was in Memphis, usually. So
and so when they brought him in to Crockett or Crockett WCW. They're like, it's Tommy Rich. This guy was, and I'm just like, he looks like shit.
He looked like chewed up chewing gum at that point.
Like he had the worst haircut. I mean, like literally, it was an awful haircut. Yeah. His body, like he had a gut. So I remember going to matches, me and my buddies, wild gut Tommy Rich. But holy smokes, could that guy work?
Oh yeah, man, yeah. So like I said at the beginning, there's a lot to like about this particular Clash of the Champions. And we get to our main event and we find out that Terry Funk is in the building, but he is in no shape to compete. And we see a little we see a pre-recorded interview from Terry Funk's hospital bed.
I know you're all laughing, loving that I'm hurt. But Jessica, my fiance, is watching. She's like, who's this guy? This is funny. It was great. I mean, it was the best.
Terry Funk, man.
Terry Funk was I mean, there's a reason he became an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, but that promo is so, you're all loving that I'm hurt. Oh, don't worry, I'm still coming. I'm going to be in the building. It's just like, why is he going to be in the building? And he don't turn the channel. I will be there at the end of the match. They're just like, talk about foreshadowing.
Yeah. And this is another piece in the puzzle of like, there's been an ongoing thing between Ric Flair and Terry Funk ever since Flair regained the championship from Ricky Steamboat and Terry Funk famously before the match. And I was like, are they going to mention the fact that the main event of Clash of Champions 1 was Sting and Flair? And Sting mentioned it in the interview. I was like, oh, that's rad. I love that. So they come out to substitute for Terry Funk in this match. They could not have picked a better substitute than Dirty Dick Slater, who has been doing Terry Funk karaoke his entire career.
My fiance's watching, and they go there like, they're like, Dirty Dick Slater. She's like, ugh.
Yeah,
Dirty Dick.
Oh my God,
who wants that?
And he actually looked really good for Dick Slater. He had a tan. He had some frosted tips happening.
Oh yeah. But Dirty, if you think about the worst name ever, like
Dirty,
like
Dirty
you're
Dick.
at the bar and some girl's like, hey, what's your? It's like Dirty Dick. She's like, I'm out of here, and I'm out of here, and I'm not leaving with you and your dirty dick.
So it was a perfect swap out for Terry Funk because literally, I mean, you watch Dick Slater, he does all of Terry Funk's shit, the mannerisms, everything.
He does. I mean, I think he has his own twist to it. I will say that. And here's the thing. I did a rewatch of an old WCW 605 or Crockett 605 wrestling a while back, and it was Dick Slater versus somebody. I could go back and watch. It was a mid-card guy, so the guy got in a little bit, but it was a Dick Slater match.
Dick Slater working heel or babyface?
Heel.
Okay.
And Dick Slater, like for all the comparisons that Jon Moxley or / Dean Ambrose gets to Roddy Piper, that guy's Dick Slater. And honestly, I think Jon Moxley could learn a lot from Dick Slater.
Well, you learn how to throw a fucking punch for one thing.
So, I mean,
Dick Slater's got a great working punch, man.
He was just a great work. As I said, he didn't have the greatest look. And then they brought him in WWF. He was the rebel, with the Confederate flag. It was like, this ain't going anywhere. So, he was always, kind of a low budget Terry Funk, as you said. However, that guy was like, just like, we're remarking about Tommy Rich. Dick Slater was a great wrestler.
You had to be. Everybody at that, and that's one thing that I took away from this entire show. Like how good everybody was in the ring, how great a worker everybody was, and how much work has evolved over the years. To where, for me, I'm a guy where like I really, a lockup at the beginning of a match, and it's like and that feeling out process. Like I need that kind of thing, and that's up and down the card in this show. But anyway, we're getting ready to take a huge leap into obscurity if we keep going down that route. We're gonna talk about this match. Great fucking tag team match, Muta. You forget.
I never forgot.
I forget. Because this was kind of, like I said, this is kind of the time I quit watching for a little bit. Muta is
big.
He's huge. He's from another, he's obviously like got a different kind of presentation, but like he's not an alien, but he's from another fucking planet as far as like what he was capable of, how he looked.
The speed.
And everything. To see him and Sting doing stuff, and you want to talk about working boots, man. When Sting was in the ring with Muta, he was wearing his working boots. You see him and Flair interacting.
Oh my god! I think that 1989 Flair, for my money, is the best working Flair ever.
Well, his greatest series of matches, widely held. Was in '89 with Steamboat.
And then Funk.
And then stuff with Funk, totally different.
Yeah.
Flip side style.
And then babyface tag team partners with Sting. And as I said, and Great Muta was beyond special. Dirty Dick Slater, great worker. And then Terry Funk, just perfect. Terry Funk, if he's not on your Mount Rushmore, he should be.
Absolutely. This match gets pretty wild.
So good.
Spills out of the ring a few times. I gotta say, knowing a little bit of backstage stuff that we won't get into, I was very entertained when when there was a hot tag to Sting, and he got to interact with Dirty Dick Slater, and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, I remember the time you fucking stuck my head in the toilet, you dirty fucker. Like, you know that story?
No.
All right. Sting made his debut in Memphis with the Blade Runners. Blade Runners. He was tag team partners with Jim Hellwig, ultimately became the Ultimate Warrior. And they didn't do anything really too much in Memphis. They split them up. Hellwig went to
World
Texas to become the Dingo Warrior, and Sting went to Mid-South.
Yeah. And Dingo Warrior managed by Playboy Gary Hart.
That's correct. So while Sting was a rookie in Mid-South, apparently one night after a show, he was approached by noted Mid-South female talent, one Miss Dark Journey, who approached Sting and was like, hey, can I get a ride to the next town or whatever the fuck it was?
Oh.
And Sting, being like a rookie, was like, well, sure, he's eager to help out, this town. little unbeknownst to him, Dark Journey was the girlfriend to one Mr. Dick Slater. Dick Slater did not take kindly to the rookie Sting driving his girlfriend to the next town. So at the next opportunity, Dirty Dick Slater put Sting's head in a toilet bowl, apparently, and let it be known that this was not a practice that was going to continue.
Wow.
But at this point, years later, Sting still pretty new, but I mean, he's
got some clout.
Yeah, he's got some clout now, and you got to say, and he's actually higher on the card than Dick Slater is.
Oh yeah,
and,
at this point, he'd already won the heavyweight championship from Ric Flair the year prior.
So they get to go at it, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh yes,
here's a receipt.
So the ending of this match gets pretty chaotic. Referee Tommy Young loses control of the affair.
We get a roll of quarters, which is nice,
or washers. You don't know.
Washers. You never know.
Could be washers.
Well, because Gary Hart was, I don't think he was known for his.
He's frugal, so he's not just going to go willy nilly like having spilling coins.
But how
everywhere.
much are washers? Washers are like a quarter, right? Maybe they're
it's cheaper than money.
Okay.
So yeah, there's at one point I believe Sting has Slater and Scorpion Deathlock. Gary Hart enters the ring and beats him about the back of the head with a roll of quarters or something, and then
the commentary team sells it as it's over. Like so many times in modern wrestling, when you hear Michael Cole, it's like, oh, that's it, and it's not.
No.
This was, that's it, and you're just like, well, that's got to be it. He hit him with the roll of quarters.
It was pretty early on, and the finish, because it keeps going
forever.
Flair gets, I think Flair ends up getting Slater in the beginnings of the figure four, and then who shows up? Terry Funk, the Texas Outlaw, proceeds to take what appears to be your off-the-shelf tall kitchen garbage bag, your white plastic tall kitchen garbage bag, and wraps it around the head of Ric Flair, and then he's got some kind of strap that
the tape
is a tape.
Yeah, he's using the wrist tape to go around.
He's taping it up.
I was just like, was the tape really necessary? And Terry Funk's like, of course. How are you going to seal it?
Suffocating Ric Flair on live TV.
Yes.
With a garbage bag, and
Flair already busted open, so you see blood
on the inside. Yeah.
The garbage bag.
And obviously, the reason this is in the context of today is the aforementioned Mr. Moxley recently, I think, performed sort of a version of this on Bryan Danielson and AEW. Now, to me, if you're going to wrap, I'm going to wrap a plastic bag around your head and try to suffocate you. Yeah. I'm going to make real sure either this is the strongest plastic bag of all time, or your hands are secured behind you, because to me, it's just like, your hands are free. Just like, just rip it open. And that was my main complaint about the Danielson thing when I saw that recently, because it's just like, you can just fucking rip it off of your face, dude. Yeah. But for some reason, watching Terry Funk do it to Ric Flair, I was like, oh yeah, there's no way he could eat. Well,
because he's got the tape.
He's got the tape. And maybe that was the extra mile that they went back in the day to make it give it that much edge of believability.
Yeah, and then they use the branding iron. They hit Sting's leg, ankle, or foot. Who's to say Jim Ross is still trying to debate that? Yeah. And then they have to go to commercial. They come back and they're just like, folks, while you were gone, they just gave this gentleman just gave mouth to mouth to Ric Flair.
No, Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman comes out and off camera gives mouth to mouth resuscitation to Ric Flair. That's how close he was to death.
And there's they have a respirator that you can't see, but
he was on it.
Jim Cornette saw it.
He was just on it.
He was on. They removed it. He's so dead that they had to. It was so good. Took it off.
It was so good. So the crowd shocked. Everybody shocked. The fallout.
Huge.
The fallout of this was, massive backlash. The proverbial the switchboard lit up.
Yes.
With calls, and the mailbags filled up with letters of disgruntled, I wouldn't say wrestling fans, because like wrestling fans were, especially Southeast wrestling fans, would be like, oh no, that shit was fine. I think it was more, at this point, WCW is really trying to compete with WWF, and they're trying to get that family market, and they want to have their family friendly version of simulated violence, and this was a bridge too far for maybe a lot of these newer fans.
Well, I will say this: my fiance watched, and she saw. So they come back from the break, and my fiance goes, "Was that part real?" That's her first question. Was that part real?
Yeah.
Dude, when they start asking that question, you did it right. I mean, like, and these are two people that literally spent 30 minutes complaining about the Jon Moxley thing. But we're okay with this. Okay,
completely okay with this.
How is that?
I fucking hate Jon Moxley. That's why.
Okay.
So
Terry, I like Jon Moxley.
Terry Funk had to actually come out the next week and apologize. What the like? Who like?
Yeah. No, the people called police. People called 911 for ambulance.
Yeah.
For help for him. And people called WTBS and their cable providers, and it was just like, you don't understand. This man tried to kill.
And we're not talking about like.
And the crowd did not chant, "This is murder."
Yeah.
Clap, clap.
No,
clap,
and we're not talking about like 1987 when Eddie Gilbert tried to run over, when actually he did run over fucking Jerry Lawler in a parking lot in Memphis, and they had Jerry Lawler had to come out like on that same show and come out and say, "No, I'm fine," because like people were calling the cops. So like that, but like nationwide, was the backlash to this. And Terry Funk came out, and but I mean,
TBS apologized, and then Terry Funk apologized.
Looking back on it, though, tremendous fucking piece of business.
Great piece of business, brother.
And
I love it.
And I loved it. And ladies and gentlemen, hopefully now you'll love our description of it enough to go and watch it either on Peacock or find it on other sources.
Sure.
But it was
Peacock. It's $3.
Yeah, it's the main event. You're not going to have it much longer. You're gonna everybody's going to switch over to. Am I going to keep? If everything goes to Netflix, if the Vault and the pay-per-views and everything go to Netflix, I mean, I could find some other alternative to watch my Golden Girls classic episodes. I'm probably not going to be holding on to the Peacock for much longer.
All right, keeps giving up the cock. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've done it.
We did it.
I think we have done it again. So, we want to thank, before we go, we want to thank our producer, Bobby, who has been helping us out with this edition and this new interface. And
check out Bobby tomorrow on the Reality Queens podcast.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell the people what they have in store?
Sure.
What you have in store.
Reality Queens talking Big Brother. We got Bobby Goodspeed. We got Jen Hoffman. We got Rachel Riley. It's an incredible podcast. Check out my coverage of Survivor from last night. Premiere season 40 several. And it was myself, Matt Bischoff, Wayne Memmott. Amazing. A really, really fun premiere. John Lovett from Pod Save America was not saved by the tribal council last night. Very huge out of the gate move.
Was he the first one voted off?
Yes.
Holy shit!
And his post-thing confessional, he comes there. It's just like, all my friends and family that are gonna see this and make fun of me. I understand that you're gonna make fun of me because I could not have shit the bed anymore.
I might take this journey with you, Fairplay, and I might watch it.
It's pretty funny. So we have Wendell Holland doing his coverage. Paulie Calafiore talking the Challenge season 40. Last night, one of the biggest episodes in the history of the Challenge. A lot of drama. Paulie, lots of hot takes, of course. Everything available at youtube.com/aftershow. If you're watching, click that subscribe button, leave comments, do the likes, all that. If you're listening or you want to listen, We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, you name it, we're there. And we're in 4K. We're broadcasters, brother.
There it is. If you want to keep up with what I'm up to, follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, at Heath Haynes DJ. And if you're in the Danville, Virginia area, every Friday afternoon, you can catch me cranking tunes at the Water Tower. It's just me. I set up my PA, all my vinyl DJ stuff, and I play records under a water tower for free in the public, ladies and gentlemen. You can bring a cooler, you can bring a lawn chair, and we just sit out there and we have ourselves a fantastic time. Jonny Fairplay has been known to show his face.
I don't think I'm ever not there.
So yeah, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
917 Main Street, Danville, Virginia.
917 West Main Street in Schoolfield under the big water tower. That's me. For Jonny Fairplay, I'm Heath Haynes. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wrestling After Show, and we'll see you at the matches.
Bye, everybody.